All right, we are live. I'll just share this link and we'll get started. Hi, welcome to whoever just joined. We'll get started in about 4 minutes, just making sure my link has gone out. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Make sure you're wearing something comfy that you can relax in. Maybe have some socks either on or on the side to slip on, a blanket to cover yourself up in, and then whatever props you usually need. I always have a bolster or a rolled up kind of thicker blanket, and then some pillows. And then I have this thick book as a block. And we'll wait for a few more minutes to see if anyone else wants to join. Hi to whoever just joined. Welcome, welcome to our restorative practice this Sunday afternoon, early evening. Make sure you get some comfy clothes and blankets and then your props, which for me today are just a blanket, a rolled up blanket as a bolster, some pillows, and a block sized-esque book. And we'll wait one more moment before we get started. All right, it is 4 p.m. We'll get started. So this is going to be a restorative flow. If you haven't taken this class before, we'll start with a little grounding and meditation, a little pranayama or breathing. Then we'll do some gentle movement, just enough to warm the body and the muscles so that we can get into the restorative poses. The restorative poses will be held for about 3 to 5 minutes each. So let's get started. Find a comfortable position on your mat, a comfortable seated position. If you'd like to slide a blanket, fold it up, or whatever you have underneath the hips for a little lift, go ahead. And just start to ground yourself. Settle into the mat. Let your body settle into itself and turn inward as we begin this practice. Align your head over your heart over your pelvis. Relax your jaw, the temples. Let your shoulder blades melt together and down the back. Let the hands fall softly, either palms down on the knees for a little grounding or palms up if you feel like you need to receive a little energy today. Eyes come to a soft gaze on the floor in front of you or flutter all the way closed. Take a moment to let anything you brought with you to the mat that you don't need for this next hour to go away. Any thoughts, any to-do lists, any feelings of shame for how often you have or haven't been on your mat, throw it all away. All you need is yourself and your mat. Start to bring your attention to the breath. The rise and the fall of the belly with every inhale and every exhale. No need to manipulate it, just take note of the lengths of the inhales and the exhales. Starting with the crown of the head, take a scan of the body from crown of the head all the way to your toes. Just checking in with yourself and where you're at right now. No need to change anything, just taking note. Are there any points of tension? Anything that feels good? Anything that's different from yesterday or maybe the last time you came to your mat? When you finish scanning the body, bring the attention back to the breath. As you inhale, fill your entire belly up, dropping the diaphragm toward the floor. When you exhale, pull the belly button back to the spine to completely empty everything. Continue these full breaths, filling the belly, and then completely exhaling as you squeeze the belly button back to the spine. On your next inhale, inhale to fill the belly to its full capacity, and then inhale all the way up through the lungs to let the ribs expand to the sides. Exhale, collapse the lungs, and then bring the belly button back to the spine to empty the belly in a 2-part breath. Let's take a few cycles of breath here in this 2-part breath. Know you can always place your fingertips on the outside of your ribs to feel them expand. So we'll inhale, fill the belly, continue up, ribs expand to the sides. Exhale, ribs collapse, belly button to spine. Let's add a 3rd part to this breath. Inhale, fill the belly. And up through, let the rib cage expand. And then breathe all the way up to the clavicle, sternum slightly lifts. Exhale from the top. Ribs collapse all the way down. And we'll continue a few cycles here in this 3-part breath. Let's add one final part to this. We'll inhale through the belly. Ribs expand to the side, then all the way up to the clavicle. We'll hold at the top for just a moment. And then exhale from the top. Ribs collapse all the way down. Take a few cycles here, holding the breath at the top. Wherever you are in the cycle, exhale all your stale air out and come back to a regular breath pattern. Keep your eyes closed or at a soft gaze and check in with yourself. Are you feeling any different than you felt when you first sat down today? Maybe yes, maybe no. Doesn't matter, just check in with how you're feeling in this moment. And flutter your eyelids open. Let's take some gentle movement. Inhale, bring the shoulders all the way up to the ears. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades back to kiss and let them drop. Take that again. Shoulders to ears, and then all the way back, shoulder blades kiss and drop. One more time. Shoulder blades up and back and drop. Bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Left fingertips fall toward the mat. Right hand comes all the way up and rests on top of the left ear. Remember, no need to push down. The gravity pulling your hand down is enough. Beautiful. Lift your hand, turn your nose toward your armpit, and then let your hand rest on the back of the head. The fingertips are kind of touching that bony part that sticks out at the bottom of the skull. Again, no need to really muscle anything here. You should feel it through the side of the neck and into the trap. Release the hand. Let the nose roll all the way to center. Take both hands and bring them on the back of your head. Again, using those little notches in the back of the skull to kind of click your fingers in, and then let gravity pull elbows down toward the ground. Hands come up, nose rolls all the way to the other side. So left ear comes to left shoulder, right fingertips rest down toward the earth, left hand comes up and rests on top of right ear. Release your jaw. Make sure you're not carrying over any tension that you're letting go in your neck anywhere else. Lift the hand, nose turns in toward the armpit, hand falls on the back of the head. Hand comes up and head comes up to follow. Inhale, lift both hands up, press down through your sits bones and use the leverage of your sits bones pressing into the mat to let the crown of your head lift up toward the ceiling. Keeping that long torso, exhale and let the arms push down to the sides. Find resistance in the air. Inhale, arms reach back up, finding full extension of the arms. Exhale, let them push down, reaching to opposite walls and pressing through the tension you've created. Almost like you're pressing through water, honey. Inhale, back up. Drop the right hand to the right side. Left hand comes up and over. Side body stretch. Plant the left hip down in toward the mat. You can open up slightly. Thumb coming toward the back wall. Sternum twisting up toward the ceiling. And let's take a few gentle movements here. Swoop that front arm all the way down to kiss the earth. And then back up. Exhale on the way down. Inhale on the way up. If you need to alter this movement or come down to the forearm or do anything you need to do to make this more personal to you or more comfortable for you, go right ahead and take that. Remembering that I am just the guide. This is 100% your practice. Let's come all the way down. Walk the hands straight out in front. Crawl the fingertips forward and release the forehead toward the mat. Come up onto the fingertips, doming the palms, and engage the forearms. If your forehead has reached the ground, you can take a little third eye massage here, rocking the forehead side to side. Drop the hands to the earth. We'll crawl all the way back up, stacking vertebrae on vertebrae. Shoulder blades up to the ears, or shoulders up to the ears, shoulder blades kiss in the back and drop. Inhale, arms float all the way up. Now let's drop the left arm to the left side. We'll do a side body stretch to the left. Right hip, right sits bone pushes down into the earth. Maybe you want to come down to the forearm. Maybe you want to track that arm toward the back wall. Sternum twists up toward the ceiling. And then let's take some gentle movement here. Exhale, scoop that arm down. Find a dome in the back. Inhale, come on back up. Open the chest up. Exhale, down like you're hiding something or you're keeping it to yourself. You're a kid keeping your bear. Oh, and then you want to give your bear away. Open it back up. If that metaphor is stupid to you, don't use it. Beautiful. Come on back up. We're going to float all the way back to center. Let's remove whatever you have underneath your hips if you took something, and we'll come into a tabletop position. So pop knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, and let's take a few cat-cows here. So we'll start in traditional cat-cow. Cow first. Inhale, drop the belly, hip points come back and up, chest shines forward. You want your shoulders to rotate open to let that chest open up wide. Exhale, curl through the spine, tuck the tailbone, chin to chest. Now take a few more of these on your own time. Inhale, dropping the belly, chest shines forward. Exhale, doming through the spine, finding the full range of motion here. And then you can take whatever variation of this your body needs. Maybe we're going to make circles from side to side. Maybe you want to pop back through baby cobra. Whatever feels good right now. Maybe you just want to rock the hips side to side. Try to listen to your body and listen to what your body is telling you it needs right now. If it feels good, that's a good place to start. And find your way back to a neutral tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Let your hips fall back toward your heels. And then press into the knuckles and let the hip points come back and up into your first downward facing dog. We can take a moment here, pedal the feet out. Bending one leg, then the other. Press into the fingertips to push up off of your wrists. Hip points move back and up. Bend both knees and roll onto the balls of your feet. Press your hip points back and up. And then let the heels fall back toward the earth. We can take the right leg high, stack the hips, make some circles. And then we'll take the left leg high. Same thing, listen, see what feels good, and use it. Let's all meet in static down dog and walk your feet behind your wrists. Take a ragdoll here, really using your hips as a hinge and releasing your upper body. Arms reach, hands reach for opposite elbows. And rock back and forth. Shake the head yes. Shake the head no. Shake the head maybe. No, you can slightly bend the knees if that feels good. Oh, plant your left hand down into the earth. Lift the right hand high for a stretch. Then we'll take it the other way. Plant the right hand. Lift the left hand high. Slowly, let's roll all the way up to a standing position, stacking vertebrae on vertebrae. Head and neck, last thing to come up. Inhale, arms sweep up to the ceiling. Shoulder blades come together and down the back. And exhale, forward fold. We'll melt all the way back down. Let's find a halfway lift. Plant your hands either on your shins or on your thighs. And find a long spine. Tailbone reaches toward the back of your mat. Crown of your head reaches toward the front of the mat. You should feel that stretch in the back of the legs. And release the hands to the mat. We'll step back into our plank and drop the knees to the mat. Beautiful. Well, that's our little warm-up section. So let's move into our first restorative pose. And for this, we're going to do a supported child's pose. So start by sitting, putting your feet like you would in an extended child's pose. So you'll bring the big toes to touch and spread the knees to the outside of the mat. And then you can just sit back on your heels while you set this up. There are several different ways you can set it up. I'm going to show you the way that I like to set it up, and then you can adjust your props accordingly so that it's comfortable for you to hold for 3 to 5 minutes. So in a perfect world, you want to set up almost like a ramp where the low end is by your body and the high end is coming away from you. So I like to stack my 2 pillows up and then place my makeshift bolster or rolled up blanket just on top of it so that the base of the bolster is on the ground next to me and I'm a little bit removed from it, and then the part that moves upward is moving away from me. And from here, again, if you get down into it and it's not comfortable for you, come back up and adjust it. I would rather you take more time to set up and make sure you're comfortable than sit in a position that's uncomfortable for you. So from here, you're going to inhale, find length in the spine, and exhale, let your body come all the way forward. Arms can rest at the sides. You can bring the forehead to your bolster, or you can rock the cheek, one cheek to one side, and when we're halfway through, I'll let you know so you can change to the other cheek. Know that you can always wrap yourself up in your blanket if you're feeling chilly. So get cozy, make this comfortable, and really release yourself to this first restorative pose. Relax the eyebrows, relax the jaw, release the hips. See how little work you can do. We spend so much time in our active yoga practices working on being engaged and keeping all the operative muscles engaged. And restorative is a different kind of challenge. So challenge yourself to not work hard and to fully relax. Sometimes that challenge is even more of a challenge. And if you've taken your cheek to one side, you can go ahead and turn the head so the opposite cheek is resting on your pillow or bolster. Slowly using the strength of your hands, push yourself back up to a seated position. Taking your time, there's no rush. If you've covered yourself in a blanket, you can set it aside. Start to set your props on the side too. So for this next position, I'm going to have you take your bolster and you can move. So you're laying on the left side. Pop your bolster kind of in the middle of the front half of your mat. So if you split your mat into like the part your head would be on and your feet are on, the top half, the bolster's in the middle of. Go ahead and then come to the side. So you'll sit so that this middle part of your ribs is going to fall right over top of that bolster. If you need to adjust so that you don't hit a wall like me, go ahead. And then bring one pillow out in front of you, and one pillow is going to rest. You'll put your left arm long so it lays on the floor, palm up, and you'll pop the pillow on top of the arm. So you can rest your ear, the left ear, on the pillow, which is on the left arm, which is on the mat. Take this front leg and let it rest on the pillow, so this top leg, the right leg, on the pillow in front of you. The right arm is going to come all the way up top, and you can kiss palms overhead. And get comfortable. Take your time finding this position. Know that you can also bring the blanket down with you to cover yourself up and get all cozy. Release any desire to hold on in the inner thigh. Let your shoulders melt down. Keep your hands and feet soft. If you feel your mind starting to wander, know that you can always bring it back to the breath. No need to manipulate the breath, but just take note of the lengths of the inhales and the exhales. Feel the sensation of the belly moving out and then coming back in every inhale and every exhale. Slowly using the strength of your hands, start to push yourself back up to a seated position. No rush, taking your time to get there, being gentle, treating your body with the love it deserves. We'll keep this bolster here, and then I'm going to have you turn so that your back is facing the bolster. Your legs can come straight out in front of you, or you can find Supta Baddha Konasana legs. So soles of the feet together, knees out. I encourage you, if you take Supta Baddha Konasana, to slide pillows underneath your knees to keep this from being too active or too much of a stretch. If you prefer to have a stretch and you want a little yin in your practice, then go right ahead. Then you're going to roll all the way back so that your upper back has the bolster underneath it. If you want to let your head fall onto the floor, if that's comfortable, that's fine. If you want to take your block or your book or have something to come behind your head, that is also okay. Bring your arms all the way out to a T. So just to recap, options for the legs, you can have the legs all the way out straight, and you can put pillows under the knees if that feels good as well. Or you can have Supta Baddha Konasana legs. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides, and then fall all the way back. So your head is either on the back of the head is on the mat or on the book, arms open to a T. And you can get cozy, cover yourself up with a blanket if that feels good. I know it's a little chilly in my house today, so I'm feeling like I need to be a little cozier throughout practice. Release any urges to engage the abs or the inner thighs. Let the shoulders melt down toward the floor. The chest open, heart open, and receptive for all of the good things that can come in. Your jaw is released. Really surrender to this pose. We're not here for much longer. See if there's just one more thing you can let go of. Maybe it's a muscle, maybe it's a thought. Whatever it is, just let it float away. You don't need it. All you need is everything you have right with you. The earth and the mat are there to support you. Your props are there to support you, and my voice is here to guide you. If you've taken Supta Baddha Konasana legs or reclined bound angle, go ahead, use the hands, close the knees up like a book. You can rock the knees from side to side to release the lower back. And then we're going to roll all the way over onto the right side to take this side position that we took on the other side on the right. So you can remove the block under your head. Make sure your rib cage is over that bolster. Right arm is going to be on the bottom, extended long. We'll pop a pillow on top of the right arm. Ear rests on the pillow, and the left arm comes over top, hands kiss overhead. You can pop another pillow in front of that top left leg. So we'll take that on the other side. So take your time. There's no rush. We're going to be here a hot second, so you don't get extra points for getting there quicker. But it definitely feels better if you're in a good, comfortable position for a long time. Take a second to check in with yourself. Does this side feel any different from the other side? Are you feeling any different than you did at the beginning of class? Just check in and then forget about it. Let it float away. Release the inner thigh. Let the shoulder blades melt down, relaxing. Not here for much longer. See if there's just one more thing you can let go of here. Using the strength of your hands, slowly push yourself back up to the seated position. Again, there's no rush. Take your time. You'll get there when you get there. We're going to move into locust pose. So this is going to be a belly down pose, and there are two different options. So the first option I will show you. You can stack your props however high you'd like to stack them, and you'll kind of get an idea of what this is when I demo it. So the first option is you'll pump onto your belly and let your feet come up on top of your props. So I keep my feet hanging off the edge. I guess my shins are on the props, and it lifts up the tops, the backs of my legs. I'll lay with one hand on top of the other and one cheek on top of my hands. Arms come out to the side. I'll call halfway through to turn. If this is enough for you, then that's fine. If you want a little more movement here, what you can do is move this stack of props even closer to the hips. So the hips will be at the base of it and the thighs will be lifted up in the air. You can adjust your props accordingly, make it comfortable, make it something that's sustainable for you. And go ahead and we'll get into it. This is locust pose. Feel your belly press against the earth with every inhale, and your body collapse a little closer to the mat, the earth, with every exhale. Let your legs find full relaxation. Your hips sink into the mat. If you've taken your cheek to one side, you can go ahead and turn so the opposite cheek is rested on top of your hands. Slowly being kind with yourself. You can let your legs roll to one side to let the legs fall off the props. Lift yourself back up to a seated position. We'll move the props to the side. And we're going to take a restorative bridge. So get either your book, your block, or some kind of a firm prop. We'll come to lie on the back. Crawl the heels as close to the hips as they can comfortably be. Snuggle the shoulder blades down underneath the chest and press down into the heels to lift the hips and slide your prop underneath. You'll rest the sacrum or the very base of the spine on your prop. Arms fall to the sides, or you can place the left hand on the heart and the right hand on the solar plexus or the belly. Option to let the legs or the feet come a little bit wider and the knees fall into each other. Release any tension in the